First tonight, nearly 20 cents out of every dollar spent in the U.S. goes to health care. That's a much higher percentage than in any other comparable country, and yet most would agree that our healthcare system has enormous problems.
If fixing the system were easy, it would already have been done. But there are different healthcare models being tried all the time, and one of them is happening on a very small scale right now in South Portland.
Finding a doctor who makes house calls is easy.
After his brief luncheon recess, Dr. Wade answers a call from a Bennett farm a few miles out of town.
All you have to do is go back to the 1940s when just about all general practitioners made house calls. But over time, the tradition faded away. Faded away, but did not disappear.
Hi, Stacy. How are you?
Dr. Orrin Gersten still makes house calls because he runs his own medical practice in an unconventional way.
I want to hear about the meds, because we made some medication changes at your last visit.
Dr. Gersten does not accept insurance payments. Instead, his patients pay a monthly fee ranging from $25 a month for patients under 19 to $99 for patients over 64. The fee covers comprehensive primary care.
So your blood pressure is 138/82, which is about where it's been, kind of when we've taken it to office.
The system Gersten has adopted is called direct primary care. The idea is that it gives doctors autonomy, allowing them to spend more time on medicine, and because they don't have to deal with health insurance companies, less time on paperwork and bureaucracy. Stacy Ayat is a fan.
I love it. I love his accessibility.
What is the appeal for a doctor?
I have flexibility in my practice to extend a visit to half an hour or an hour if I think that the patient needs that kind of attention. In a traditional fee-for-service or insurance-based model, you just don't have that much flexibility because you need to see the patients, sometimes 20 patients in a day.
Do you have any employees?
0 employees, just me.
Is that efficient for you to be the one who schedules appointments, sends out the bills, makes sure that the patients are paying you, to do all that kind of stuff? Is that efficient?
If I'm screening these phone calls from patients, I'm in a very good position to understand, does this patient need to be seen? Can this be taken care of over the phone? It's just fewer links between patient and provider, and my patients really like that. Good. This is looking good.
The monthly fee that patients pay doesn't cover everything. Prescription drugs, lab tests, x-rays, things like that all cost extra, as does more advanced medical treatment. But often the savings Dr. Gersten provides on, say, lab tests are dramatic.
The last time I had, because I usually do have quarterly lab tests because of the diabetes, and the last time I had a full workup, it was $100. And I think it was about $12 when I had them done with Dr. Gersten.
It really just grabs my attention when you say that you charge $3 or $4 for some sort of laboratory test that elsewhere would cost me $50.
Right.
Something somewhere clearly is way out of whack.
The costs are really out of control. You know, this is something that's costing businesses and individuals and families a big part of their income is to access care, and it's not always high quality care. And as a direct primary care doctor, I have invested interest in saving my patients money, and because I own my own business and I control the costs, I'm able to help people with that.
We keep hearing that if you have scale in healthcare, the cost should come down. Here you are, one lone ranger, and you can provide medications for less than people who are in an insurance program. It just seems crazy.
The doctors that you see in the big health systems, they're very disconnected with the price of care. If you ask an average doctor, if you would have asked me last year, how much does a complete blood count cost? That's a type of lab. I would have had no idea. But to me, as a direct primary care doctor building my own business, I know exactly how much everything in my office costs and the value that it adds for people. And I think that's how I'm able to keep the costs down.
When you talk to patients who are thinking about coming aboard, I'm sure they're skeptical because this is so different. What do they want to know?
The number one question I get is, how does health insurance play into this model? And what I explain to people is that health insurance and health care are two different things. Health insurance is a card in your pocket. healthcare is a doctor that you know and trust. I encourage all my patients to have health insurance because if somebody needs their appendix out, I can't do that in the office. But all too often, people are using their health insurance to try and access a healthcare system that really doesn't give them good value.
It's clearly a different type of health care, one that places great emphasis on the personal touch.
Well, good. Well, thanks for having us in your home. Thanks for everything, and I'll be in touch.
Patients still like a house call. As for the doctor,
I love it. I think it's great, and it mixes up my day, and I think it improves care too.
So it's a really interesting model, but the fact is very few doctors right now are doing direct primary care. Dr. Christian says he believes there are about 1,000 across the entire U.S., but it's worth noting that it's not just patients who get frustrated by dealing with health insurance bureaucracy. The doctors do too. A lot of them are burned out. So it'll be interesting to see if this model becomes more than just a small niche.
Well, it's a really interesting way to make sure that people are actually getting the health care they need, too, because most people just don't even want to go see a doctor.
And it does create that personal connection that is so important to everyone.
Yeah.
We all want that. We all want to feel like we're being listened to and paid attention to.
Interesting stuff. Still ahead.